Hi guys, and welcome back to another devlog about Skyland. The last 2 weeks I've been working on some core mechanics of the game, harvesting and building, but before I started with that I had to finish up my work from the previous 2 weeks. So I got right into it and implemented the last first person mechanic, climbing. It was a little tricky since I had to split the viewing direction from the hands direction to allow you to look around while climbing, but I figured that out. And I also had to clamp the looking direction to prevent looking in every other direction. After that I started with coding server-side physics. As you might know, my client is split from the server, which allows me to have an easy way to implement multiplayer. But that also means I need to run a physics simulation on both sides. So basically the client runs the physics for the player and the server runs the physics for everything else. Until now I hadn't implemented it on the server side, but that wasn't too hard to add. Next up was resource gathering. So I basically just added a cube whenever I hit the tree. After that I created a simple wood pile model which looked like a flash inside a tree park, but let's not talk about that for now. I changed the colors later on. I also changed the drop rate when you hit the tree and gave the tree more health. Later in the development the drop rate will probably change based on the tool you are using to harvest something. The last time I've been working on a game I didn't add sounds to the game until the very last moment, so I decided to not make this mistake again and add them immediately. So throughout this video I added certain sound effects, and for now they are pretty much just placeholders, but that allows me to easily replace them with better sound effects later on. Then I changed the cascade size of my cascaded shadow mapping stuff to double the shadow quality, which gives the blend shadow a lot more detail. The next thing I worked on was the picking up mechanic. I love the way Minecraft does it with this animation where it flies towards you, so I decided to do the same, and in the background you can see the results, and of course I also added some sound effects, which gives it a more satisfying feeling when you pick up something. So now I was able to pick up stuff, but in the background I only removed the items from the server and I hadn't implemented an inventory yet. So the obvious next step was to implement that. I already coded a working user interface library while working on my last game, so I decided to simply reuse that. I started off by adding my 3D wood model to the user interface. My idea is to keep everything 3D there, because working on icons for every item is just too much work since I'll make a 3D model for every item anyways. I changed the background texture, added an item counter, and it was ready to go. The font I'm using as the item counter is a custom one I made in the past. Now it was time to focus on the building stuff. For now it doesn't use any resources because of testing purposes, but obviously in the final release of the game you will get nothing for free. So yeah, I started off with a simple cube to test the alignment of the building block to the player. Next up I created a simple wooden wall which you then could place in the world. My plan is to implement a Fortnite-like building system, where you can place your wall and edit it to create a wall with a door or windows or even a fence. I guess you know what I mean by now. It should be very user-friendly and fast to build, because building is one of the core mechanics and it should feel right and not clunky like in other games. Same goes for every other building type like the floor, roof or even the stairs. I also added some indicators to show you where you can place your stuff. For now you can place it everywhere except inside a player or in the air without a connection to another object. In the future the buildings will lock into place next to other walls to make it easier to build stuff, but I will still keep the free placement stuff to allow the players to get more creative if they want to. While experimenting with building I figured out that the combination of building and climbing is pretty fun, so I will probably keep this in the game as well. I also implemented roofs and stairs and built my first house, and as a last little thing I added berry bushes into the game. You can't harvest them yet, but that will be added in the future. So yeah, that's it for this week's devlog. Over the next 2 weeks I'm probably gonna be implementing some more building mechanics like editing walls, roofs and stairs. I might also tackle the cloud rendering again, because I would really love to have a great layer of clouds between those 2 layers of islands. And yeah, if you have any feedback I would love to hear it, and I will see you guys in the next episode. Bye!